But let's jump in to the land of Dawn. It's game number 1. WAOW GG up against Falcons Vega Mena.
All right, looks like it is going to be a Baxia jungle Uranus EXP lane. So Velvet's goal here is just going to try and lock Deja Vu in lane as long as possible to provide them more space to rotate around on the map. Looking at the emblem setup as well, we got Impure Rage on both Foes and Rika. And then the Brave Smite on Mike Wazowski. So aiming for overall staying power.
So, I mean, Leo was right. We get to see some more debut picks in another series. And not only do we see some debut picks, we also see the Xborg in the jungle, which is the debut position on the last series debut pick. I mean, they just keep switching it up on us. And how much farther is it going to go?
I mean, I love it. I love seeing some variety and like, oh, Rika could be in some trouble here.
Takes a little bit of damage. Will he be able to dash away? Forced to use the flicker. Is able to get a bit of poke off and will be safe.
All right, that's good. Team Falcons has to make use of this Baxia to really start causing pressure. It's going to be difficult for them to keep lane priority across the map since Estes will naturally be a little bit slower and doesn't do all that much damage. But the more presence he shows in the side lane, the more easy it is going to be for Velvet and Names to make their presence known and start scaling up into the mid game where Velvet and Sunlight become very difficult to handle.
Ooh, a lot of damage on Ayame. WAOW GG forced to kind of take this slow here. Now, I want to talk about that Xborg because we felt like it was a good pick against the Estes. But for me, that's more of an EXP lane Xborg because you don't want to blow that last Insanity too early. Like before Turtle, before Lord, you want to try to use it to secure those big objectives. And now, Foe, speaking of the devil, take a little bit of damage. Might get taken out. Here comes Deja Vu into the backside, gets the stun onto you. Slams down onto Fiven as well, but now Deja Vu needs to try to get out of here as Velvet hordes away Ayame, keeping him away from the team, keeping her away from the team. Back onto the Turtle here. Velvet now also keeping space as Mike Wazowski has to run away and Team Falcons take the Turtle.
Yeah, really well played by Team Falcons and a great call as well, knowing that at this stage of the game, Foes doesn't have enough items to actually threaten their frontliners. They can just run him down, especially if Ayame is already showing somewhere else on the map. Getting rid of the enemy jungle immediately means that you can just go for the Turtle, and although Deja Vu did try to cut off the back line, the damage was unfortunately already done and Team Falcons can just back off with their spoils. First Turtle going to them, a 1k gold lead in 3 minutes.
I mean, it's a big gold lead. A lot of times you'll see teams at least secure something in response to losing the Turtle. WAOW GG not able to really get much minion play, get much tower play, or even get a kill on the board.
Ooh, Names almost picking off Ayame.
A little bit of damage. Ayame is able to get back. Sunlight just being so aggressive overall on Foes. Might not be able to get away from this. The frag armor does pop. Team Falcons just ever so aggressive in the first few minutes.
Yeah, unfortunately, the issue with going Matilda Valentina in your mid lane is that you're giving up so much rotational priority, and because of that, Team Falcons can keep walking and rolling around with Sunlight, providing help to the side lanes, and they're still fighting.
Yeah, they're looking for this tower. They want it so bad. Sunlight takes a bit of damage. Here comes the ult. All stuns onto the side of WAOW GG, and the tower goes down. Team Falcons able to take a big step in the right direction.
Man, Estes ult is so disgusting to me. The fact that 4 members just dive the tower and barely take any damage in return really does not feel particularly fair, especially when you also have that Baxia and Uranus on that side. It just becomes impossible, especially in the early stages, since again, no mid lane prio from WAOW GG. Foes doesn't have enough items yet.
Not only that, but if Yui on the ZTN, wait a second, Circling Eagle does get the knock-up. Foes trying to get some chip damage down. Deja Vu to the backside, able to get the kill onto Fiven. This could be the game changer. Ayame goes down as Names, drops the shots. Names takes another one, Foes falls as well. Velva onto Rika now. Foes just trying to pick up the pieces, trying to get away, but they're not gonna let it happen. Not today. Sunlight picks up a kill, puts it on the board, make it a Turtle as well. 4-2 for the side of Team Falcons.
All things considered, that started off not too bad for WAOW GG. They were able to effectively split the team fight in half and basically ignore Velvet to try and go for the backline. But again, it comes into the play of there's not enough damage when you have a Valentina on your side, especially against an Estes. Even worse here. It's so much easier for Velvet to survive, actually whittle down the backline, and Team Falcons were able to regain control of the team fight towards the end there, which is definitely not what WAOW GG wants.
I mean, even WAOW, and the thing is, Deja Vu's doing the right job, even able to get the kill on to Fiven there, but it just was a little too late. And by that point, WAOW GG's all split up, and Team Falcons just takes advantage at taking them down one by one by one.
Yeah, WAOW GG probably needs to play it a little bit slower. Ideally, wait for the mid-game, get around 2 or 3 items on foes as well as Mike Wazowski. If you can get a little bit of assists on Riyadh too, that would be great. Because Team Falcons is definitely going to be controlling this stage of the game. Again, Baxia, Uranus, Estes, you are not getting through this until you have that armor pen, until you have that anti-heal.
They can literally do nothing to Velvet right now.
Yep.
It's disgusting. And they do have the crowd control, maybe, but they're gonna have to use so much of their utility to try to take him out. Foes on the X-Borg, I like the idea, but I think Team Falcons just has too many answers for it. You have the Basha who can quickly close the distance, get the stun onto the X-Borg, buy some time to get down the frag armor. You have the Estes who can get the second skill, slow him down, not let him get away. And the thing is an X-Borg has to get kind of close. It's not big range. He's not a super quick hero, and I think we're seeing the problem here, but now a lot of damage. Here comes the ult. Everyone gets stunned up, and Team Falcons closing in. The blessing does come through to heal up the team. Deja Vu, once again, caught in the middle of 4, tries to flicker back. One more shot, but he is able to get away. WAOW GG are able to survive at the cost of Mike Wazowski.
That's actually not too bad for WAOW GG. A 1-for-1 trade here is actually pretty solid, and they were actually able to finally take down the Uranus. Unfortunately, Team Falcons are just able to top themselves up completely with the Estes once again. Take a free tier 2 up top, instantly rotate, take up a free turtle. Having access to these really bulky, high rotation tanks alongside a portable fountain that is Estes allows them so much map presence.
Yeah, I mean, it just feels like once Team Falcons groups up like this too, there was no entry for WAOW GG. Even Ayami starting to get shredded down now just by using the ultimate, just by looking for a knock-up, just by looking for some space. If anyone enters that death circle, it's tough, man.
Even worse so, Team Falcons picked up this lineup after they had already seen the Valentina and the Granger. They're well aware that WAOW GG just doesn't have enough AoE damage. Even though the X-Borg was actually a pretty solid final pick, it might not be enough. They're gonna try and find Velvet by himself though.
Velvet might go down for this one. Might not be able to get away. Foe's able to get the kill there. The stun does come in for ZTN. Ayami almost goes down. WAOW GG should be able to take a tower, but they're gonna lose one on the boss side as well.
Yeah, it's not really an ideal trade. Velvet is no longer worth quite as much as she was at one point, since that is not actually her first death anymore, and a tier 2 tower is very valuable. Though it looks like Team Falcons aren't going to be able to rotate back in time. Rika sticking around to get a tier 2 up top. Sunlight, will they find them? Oh!
Now he's alone. Mike Wazowski tries to get away. Foes does come in the nick of time. Mike Wazowski, she's able to dash back. Followed up by the last Insanity. Foes trying to escape Fiven here. The cutoff is coming, but Ayami's there to make sure they're safely to get away.
It's actually very surprising that Mike Wazowski was able to get out of that one. It's quite lucky for her that Sunlight is a lot quicker than the rest of Team Falcons, so they weren't able to come back her up in time to pick up a potentially easy kill. Rika being able to get out as well actually ends up meaning that trade is good for WAOW GG. They trade 1-for-1. They're actually able to get a tier 2 up top. They are definitely still in this game, but a lot of it rides on whether Rika can continue farming well.
Okay. Do we think it's the right play to just keep on targeting down onto Velvet? I don't know if it's the right target. Ayami did use the Circling Eagle. Once again, it's a big utility use for now, not even getting the kill this time.
I think WAOW GG doesn't really have much of a choice,
Fair.
Unfortunately. The only target they can really find is Velvet most of the time, since she's the only person that is not standing next to Fiven.
Foes looking for a possible steal here. Can the last insanity come in the nick of time? Yes.
Ooh.
Does pop up. Fiven taking a lot of damage. Rika able to get the kill, and now Mike Wazowski's dashing back as Names slaughters onward. Foes taking some damage. Drops a double kill for Names. Taking change. Velvet finds one for himself. WAOW GG on the back ropes. They do take the Lord though.
They do take the Lord, but it ends up being a 1-for-3 trade. The fight started really well, actually. All of the AoE from WAOW GG landed on top of a big chunk of Team Falcons. But because they ignored Velvet for it, the Uranus just ended up causing havoc in the backline, not allowing Rika to continue contributing damage and them losing their front line. Oh, Velvet?
Oh, that's a lot of damage. Rika finally starting to output.
That's what we're looking for. Fury of the Phoenix comes down.
Oh, do they want to push this? Names comes in once again.
Oh!
She's taking Names, pulling their card, clocking their clocks. WAOW GG, every time they want to make a move, they're just pushed back. And at this point, the Melissa is looking good.
That was the most you are approaching me situation that I have ever seen. Names realizing they're chasing the now. Now Fiven in trouble.
Fiven. I mean, at this point, though, we've seen Fiven go down a few times. Yes, that is still a win in the book for WAOW GG. Everything works at this point. But we're seeing Team Falcons win fights even after Fiven drops.
Yeah, this whole time we've been talking about the Estes combo with the tanky frontliners, and we've just been forgetting that Names exist on the map, right? This Melissa is now 5-1. We can see in the highlights just how much pressure she was emitting, literally walking up forward, using the space created by the rest of the team because of the intense dive from WAOW GG to rack up those kills. And now this Melissa is the actual main issue.
I mean, Melissa is a hero that on paper has looked good, like in theory to me, has looked good against a lot of dive comps for a long time. You have the go away, you have something that's supposed to be able to help stop things like Lapu Lapu, help stop things like Matilda, help stop some of these dive heroes. It just never really ended up working out, I think, the way a lot of us wanted it to. But for this game right here, it is definitely something, and it's something that we could definitely see possibly in the future against comps like this.
Yeah, it's a hero that requires the correct setup and the lineup to play around, because even though she has the ultimate zone away melee hero, she still ends up being a very obvious target for artillery mages and long-range marksmen a lot of time. In this game, there's none of that threat, right? The Farsa was already removed in the ban list, and then you have Sunlight and Velvet holding the front line. Fiven can just stand next to you and keep you topped up regardless of the situation. It's very easy for Names to find the space necessary, and WAOW GG needs to adjust their approach now. They cannot afford to just simply ignore the front line, because if they're not able to find the Melissa, they just get melted down.
All right, so taking a look at the gold, it's not too far apart. WAOW GG is still very much in this game. Getting that tier 2 on the top side is going to pay off for this Lord right here, because they're even in the long wave. Ayami takes a little bit of damage there. Deja Vu pops the Bravest Fighter, able to get the stun, the heal. The Phoenix Fury comes down, the stuns just aren't enough. Back in the backside, Velvet tries to zone him away, but Rika gets the kill. And now they're fighting back. Rika pushes forward, pushes back. It's 4v4 right now. 1-for-1, Lord still up.
Dude, I hate Estes ult so much, man. Deja Vu literally did negative damage in that engagement, and all you gotta do is press one button and stand together. Lord gonna be taken by Names right here. Even forces out a flicker from Ayame. Things are not looking good for WAOW GG.
Foes goes back to base. They decide to give up the Lord. I thought we might see a last-minute, last insanity to try to get the steal there. I'm not counting WAOW GG out just yet, though. I don't think this Lord is going to be the game-ending Lord.
Yeah, I don't think so either. WAOW GG does have pretty good base defense. Foes should be able to burn it out quite easily, and Rika is actually building up a good amount of damage. They just gotta make sure they don't get caught in a bad spot. I do like the way that Zetian ult has been being used so far this game. It's one of the more effective utilizations of the hero, because so far today, we've seen it whiff a lot of the time. It is being used correctly to really set up the team fight for the rest of Team Falcons, and that is making things much more difficult. WAOW GG, they want to try and avoid this doing as much damage as possible.
All right, they're going to try to push in. Lord will get the connect onto this top base tower. Ayami gets the knockup, but has to try to get away. Velvet just ever so persistent in staying in the faces of WAOW GG. Minions continuing to close in right now.
Still probably one of the best results they could have asked for, though. Forces out a flicker from Velvet as well, but Team Falcons trying to push their way into the base.
I mean, they're doing everything they can. Not enough to take a base tower, at least not yet. WAOW GG doing great at the defense, knowing their limits. I mean, even hanging out in the faces of Team Falcons with 30, 40% health. The tower will finally drop, though, as Sunlight and Velvet crack the shell. Here comes the knock-up, a little bit of damage on a Sunlight. The stuns land down on both teams. Velvet low, Deja Vu finally taken out because he bravest fighter a little bit too deep. Foe gonna drop next. Names able to get the kill. Another tower falls as well. WAOW GG against the rope. It's 2 up against 5 members of Team Falcons. They're gonna close the distance. They're gonna take down the base, and they're gonna take game number 1.
It is not even a fight here from the side of WAOW GG, despite their best efforts. Despite everything that they've thrown at the wall, they are fighting in their base, and it feels like they're the ones without their fountain. That is the situation we are looking at here as Team Falcons takes game number 1. Let us, Trex, what do you think about that?
Falcons were relentless from start to finish. A lot of teams, I mean, in the beginning they were aggressive, and then even at the end they showed that relentlessness non-stop. They didn't want to let it go any farther. They knew Rika was starting to come online. A lot of teams might have backed off after that Lord there. They might have just, all right, we got 2 towers, we got a tower, we're gonna chill, we're gonna play it safe. No, they wanted to end the game right here, right now.
And watching games like this once again pushes my vendetta against
Your
Estes
favorite
as a
hero
concept. No, don't you dare. Don't you dare imply such a thing.
I love Estes. You know who else love Estes?
Yeah?
Leo.
This hero single-handedly won the Philippines its 2nd World Championship in a row. I'm talking M3, hashtag we want Estes.
Yeah,
Bring the code,
that
baby.
contributes to me disliking the hero. Like, seriously, dude, every single fight, like, WAOW GG throws so many resources. They spend multiple ultimates. They actually don't do too bad a job of whittling down their opponents. Vivin presses a couple buttons and everyone just feels like they never took damage at all.
I think to address this, we have to go back to the root, right? How did they decide to answer the Estes? Because it was in their face. There was no going around it. We were going to fight an Estes lineup. WAOW GG, what did they do? They put an X-Borg into the hands of Foss, the self-proclaimed killing machine. I don't know if y'all are looking at the same thing or if you know the same kid as I do as X-Borg. That's not a killing machine. That is a shredder. Yeah. That is a little bit of peel, and that is an anti-tank. So already I think WAOW GG, specifically their jungler, Foss was coming in with a deck half shuffled. Like it's not all in. They weren't fighting on fair ground. All this while, Team Falcons Vega Mena, they were just, like they were so comfy on so many levels.
Yeah, I will definitely concede that point. As much as I dislike the hero, I will definitely accept the fact that this was the right game to play Estes. They saw the Matilda, Granger, Valentina very early on, instantly. They know WAOW GG is not going to have damage in the early game. In fact, they're not going to have damage for a very, very long time. You add on the fact that they were given access to both Baxia and Uranus, it's easy. It's so obvious that you go in for healer gameplay.
I mean, I wouldn't say it's easy. You know, earlier you said they're just pressing the buttons. It's not about just pressing the buttons. It's about when you press the buttons. And I think Falcon Mena's timing was on point. Yeah, it's about when you hit that ult, right? It's about when you use the go away.
It's not what you got. It's when you use it.
It's when you use it.
Yes, my teammates' health bars are not full. Let me press the button.
I like more than just the way they use the Estes. I think there's a lot of genius in how they're willing to throw Velvet out there. And it takes a very specific kind of XP laner and communications for that to work. Because if you're down 1 member, if you're down 1 bit of peel, and then your gold laner in names is in trouble, which, by the way, happened a lot. Kudos to WAOW GG for trying to make that happen because they did throw enough at names. It just wasn't enough. Like, it was too little too late. And I'm so happy that there's a successful debut once more into the environment of patch 1.9.90 hotfix. The Melissa. This is a win. Again, every series, one new hero gets introduced. Technically 2.
That one was 2, Estes and Melissa.
No, Xborg.
Xborg.
No, Xborg,
We saw
Xborg earlier.
Xborg Jungle.
Xborg Jungle.
Okay.
Xborg Jungle. That's new. So, what does this mean for WoW GG? Going into game number 2, draft is almost upon us. They're just setting it up. Do they ban the Estes, or do they draft more earnestly so they don't get blindsided like that?
I think it's the latter, because in the end, there's a reason you don't see much Granger and Valentina anymore. They can still be good in the right compositions, yeah.
The former was like yeeted out of the meta.
Pretty much, yeah. Like, it's not like they're impossible to play around with, but there was no reason to pick them up so early. Right, there's no threat of them being stolen away, and you could have still adjusted the position. The only reason I could think of that they would go that early is just to keep the draft open, you know, safe, which I'm not a big fan of.
The export. I think they could have definitely drafted that different and possibly got a win there. I totally agree with you, Leo, that the Xborg was a rough answer at the end there. They saw the Estes. It would have, I said it earlier, it would have been a good answer if it was in the EXP lane. It could have been a decent answer if it was elsewhere on the map. But coming in the jungle in the hand of Foss, it just didn't really feel right. It wasn't able to do what it was meant to do. My big problem with it was you can't use your ult to attack when the Estes pops the ult, and also use it to get a Lord or a Turtle. You're caught between these two things, and there's just no real answer there.
And I think you're overextending and overbearing the ult. Because, yes, Last Insanity did get buffed, essentially, by adding more rotations and changing the way the damage is dealt, but again, that's not something you can control. It's not like a Puncture or a Tempest of Blades or Phantom Execution that you always have a calculated time to trigger. This is still down to RNG and how many stacks of the overburn you have as the Xborg. So maybe this is an idea from Coach Bebex, from their analyst Non-Action. Because again, this is how you answer most SS lineups, right? You know they're going to ube, burn them up.
Yep.
Maybe this was the right solution at the wrong time because Team Falcons know how to play around it.
I want to take a look at Deja Vu here, because Deja Vu did play a great game in this early stage. We see Deja Vu plenty of times get back to that back line, split up Falcons meta. So I'm wondering what exactly happened. Was it that Velvet was also splitting up the side of WoW GG?
Pretty much.
Every time he went in, there was no follow-up. I guess in the end, Falcons meta was doing it better?
Deja Vu, if anything, was the most effective part of this anti-Estes, anti-Melissa operation. She did well, and I think she did better than Velvet because Velvet, at some point, was just annoying. I don't think this lineup on WoW GG was as scared of the Uranus as Falcons were afraid of the Lapu Lapu. So Deja Vu did very well. I love how you pointed that out, Trex, because she was literally about to kill Yui or Names one way or the other, and mostly it was Names. But again, Names has fun on her. Names has a go away. She's just built to counter that stuff. And I think this was a game that was won on the draft alone.
Yeah, I agree. Because, Deja Vu was doing a great job. I also agree that she was probably doing better than Velvet overall in splitting up the fight.
Or Foes.
Yeah, or Foes. But, the odds were really stacked against WoW GG here because of how they started that draft. I still think that Xborg is a good option. It's just that in this position, it was tacked on as like a final measure rather than actually built around correctly. It was just the emergency button at the end, which isn't exactly going to help you out.
It's a band-aid for a bullet wound, as I like to say. Trex, this does still go down to your prediction. You did say we're going all the way. But you did say WoW GG. What exactly do you think the Mongolian squad here is going to do to make this go that direction? Like, what's the change in game 2?
They're going to 2-1 them.
Obviously.
They're going to 2-1
Obviously, but what's
how?
the change? Like, how, sir? Don't tell me what.
They're not going to pick jungle Xborg. I hold strong. They were like, oh, wait. We already picked our EXP laner. And, they just had to...
Wait, coach. Xborg, what?
So, no, I think, like you said, and like we've been pointing out, Deja Vu played amazing. A lot of their team, during that end game, once Rika got online, Rika started playing great, was able to get the perfect distance on a lot of those shots, was able to poke, dash back and forth. a lot of the members of the team played well. I just don't think they were given the right cards to play with. So this time when it comes to draft, give them the right cards, give them what they're comfy with. Don't get thrown off by some Estes pick that Sadafa hates. Just play your game and do your thing.
Pretty much, I agree. Because, yeah, despite the fact that they were facing a lineup that's really difficult to handle with their hero composition, I think WoW GG actually did pretty well. You know, they were very good at engaging team fights, deciding when to actually take engagements. Rika was actually able to farm up quite well and actually become quite a threat towards the end game. But a poke hero like Granger is already stacked against the odds against sustain heroes and healing supports, right? So going into the next game, you gotta keep your tools a little bit more open. Maybe try to lean towards the meta towards the early stages. And I think you gotta respect the Baxia as well on the red side. There's a reason teams usually ban the hero on the red side. It opened up too many things because instantly WoW GG couldn't pick the Uranus anymore, right? And it was just given back over.
If WoW GG were to break my heart and take us all the way and even win the series, I think one way to do that is to get back to their identity. I think of all of them, Deja Vu still played a very Deja Vu game. Foss, I think Foss is a huge reason why they weren't as successful in game number 1. So put a Lancelot on this woman, put a Ling in her hands, a Hayabusa. I'll even say like a Yi Sun-shin. Like if you can find a way to put a Yi Sun-shin into the hands of Foss, then she can become the killing machine that she was born to be, that she knew she could be. Then we're golden.
And also, I mean, in terms of draft, they have a lot of space for bans. Those bans, we saw Farza get banned. We saw Zushin get banned. We saw Kimmy get banned. There's a lot of room for change up, I feel like, that can still benefit both sides. You don't have to give too much by dropping one of those and switching it up to give yourself the Farza, to give yourself the Zushin, to give yourself some damage on your team.
Or maybe even in a proactive manner, attack your opponents, give Sunlight a hard time, force her onto said assassins, because again, she's a self-proclaimed utility jungler. Not that there's anything wrong with that. It's just, what if she gets tested? What if her hero pool gets checked and only, you know, the Yi Sun-shin, the Ling, the Lancelot, only those are left out? What if that happens? We'll see if WoW GG's got it in the bag to do just that. Coach Bebex chooses to go blue, while Koba goes ahead and says, we're going red, girls. Game number 2 with Team Falcons at match point. We are going to switch the scores around. Trex and Snafa, y'all take care of business now.
All right, we'll try our best, Leo. We'll make you proud. Let's jump into the draft for game number 2, and there is going to be a side switch happening here. Uranus and Kalea banned out by WoW GG, and the Baxia that we talked about earlier banned on the red side by Team Falcons. So we can see that they have proper respect for the hero.
Yeah, I mean, there's already some targets coming in. There's already some change of targets happening. The Basha gone, but it's Falcons who actually ban it out. They're a little more on the scared side to let that through over to WoW GG. And with the Uranus gone, we're forced to see some change happening.
And I think it is good to have some change. Really thinking about it as well, we've already come into this competition knowing that WoW GG likes leaning more into assassin jungles and Team Falcons likes more utility jungle. I feel like what could have happened in game 1 was that WoW GG could have left the Kimmy open potentially and gone for a triple marksman composition, since we already know that works really well against tankier heroes and would have definitely provided the damage that they were lacking to break through the Estes healing. WoW GG though, gonna actually ban out the CC. Makes me think that they might lean into the Lapu early again.
And when they were over on red side, they took out the, I'm mind blanking now.
Yeah, same.
Because it was
they took out Arlet.
They took out the Arlot. They took out mages. But at this point, first pick up Lapu. I mean, yeah, could be solid overall. I think something not too crazy. The Farza's open. I think the mid lane has been a decent pick up front. I'm still not on board with the Zushin first pick, but it gets banned out anyways. With that banned out, I do think the Farza could be viable up front here. You don't want to leave it to the other side when there's not a whole lot of options left. Yes, the Zeatin goes well, but it lacks mobility. It lacks everything that the Farza has in my book.
Yeah, I agree. I think Farza is just one of the more universal and safe picks, even though it is a backline DPS option that could be easily cancelled. It would cost opponents a lot of investment to actually take care of her effectively every single time, as long as the positioning is on point. With the Zeus in man out as well, I feel like WAOW needs to consider the possibility that Falcons wants to go for another utility tank jungler comp. It looks like WAOW likes playing the Matilda, and that's going to be their first lock-in.
Matilda's solid. I mean, again, another solid pick. You do give up a lot of opportunity for Falcon to also just kind of build their draft here, and there's still plenty of utility junglers that they could pick up. They could go for something like the Fredrin here. We know that it's what they like to play. It's what they're comfortable with, and I'm just wondering if WAOW needs to kind of prepare for that a little bit earlier. Now with the ZTN picked up from the side of Falcons, they could honestly just go for a very similar draft to last time.
But last time did hinge quite heavily on the Baxia and Uranus just being impossible to kill. There's not a lot of heroes in the pool that are going to be able to match up to that level of bulkiness. Gatot does actually come pretty close though, so there's a chance Team Falcons is leaning in that direction. WAOW gonna go exactly as we predicted here. The Fredrin comes out to combo with the Matilda. So interestingly enough, still not putting foes on an assassin jungler. And they'll also lock in the Kimmy.
I mean, this is a big switch up, right? We expected to see some assassin junglers, but right now it is hard to do that when there's still things like the Bosch out there, when there's things like the Fredrin out there. If you don't have any answers to those assassin junglers, it can be a dangerous place. And the way that Falcons played last game with how aggressive they were, I mean, it's tough, because if you fall behind with an assassin jungler, if you fall behind with something like that, you're in an even scarier position, because now you're losing more opportunity for damage. And here comes that Melissa again.
Another Melissa pickup. It's not too bad against the Fredrin, but the fact that Team Falcons prioritize it this early once again instantly makes you wonder if this is just a signature pick for names. And it certainly worked out quite well for them in game number 1. Now the question for WAOW going into the second phase of bans is it worth banning Estes?
I think in second phase, it could definitely be worth, especially already seeing the Melissa, who's long range, can benefit from that with a hero like ZTN, who doesn't have a lot of dashes, is more of a, I'm going to sit close to my roamer, I'm going to sit close to the rest of my team and fire shots from the back. Estes just works. You have the Katana as well. I mean, so far their composition looks like they're driving towards that end, and Estes band would not be out of the book at all.
Up to WAOW to decide if it's going to be a threat or not, because Team Falcons are definitely in a position where they could pull it out again. You go for the thing is, tank junglers, not a lot of them left nowadays. It's only really the Fredrin and the Baxia. So if they play an Estes with only a Gatot as a front line, it is a little bit more difficult compared to how they played in game number 1. WAOW ban out the Yi Sun Shin instead. So more so concerned about damage options of Team Falcons.
I mean, makes sense as well. They could ban out something like the Hayabusa here now. Just limit down onto that jungler pool. You already said there's not many utility options, and with that left, we're also running out of jungle options in general, in terms of damage as well. So if WAOW, even if they can't handle going against something like an Estes, if they can't handle going against whatever composition they bring, without a good jungler that can try to go throw blow for blow against the Fredrin, you still win those Lords, you still win those Turtles, which are huge in the game.
Looks like that is the priority then. WAOW having Kimmy will already give them pretty good mid lane control. This is one of the best level 1 mid heroes in the game. Clears very quickly, pokes very easily as well. Combined with the Matilda should give them pretty easy access, especially compared to a ZTN. But we've got Todd around as well. Team Falcons may not be too far behind in terms of wave clear, and that is a little bit concerning, because Fredrin does have a slightly slower clear speed in the jungle compared to Assassins, and that's something that Team Falcons might be able to take advantage of.
Okay, so what do we see here for jungle? The Lancelot still open, right? Ling still open. Hayabusa still open. All have been popular picks if they decide to go for something aggressive on the side of Falcon.
Oh,
They're going Estes. They're going Estes.
I was like thinking,
they're going Estes.
I feel like there's a tank jungler I'm forgetting about. And this hero was banned in game 1 too. So as my old man brain right there, very good solution into the Fredrin because you just eat him and he is no longer an issue for a short while. Really messes with the timing for the Appraiser's Wrath. And really good combo with the Estes again. WAOW GG is suffering from a similar issue as the previous game too. Matilda Fredrin are not going to be very good at handling an Estes comp.
Okay, so this time, WAOW GG, though, do get some damage on their side to help deal with something like that. They pick up the carry. Last pick for EXP lane. The Lapu's already gone. What do you get to deal? I mean, you could go for the export again, this time just in the EXP lane. You have enough damage with the Kimmy and the carry. The double K combo here. You have that possibility. Go for the Esmeralda instead to help deal with some shield and whatever Falcons want to bring in as their last pick. We said Estes. Is there anything else? Maybe Wrath? Maybe we finally see that Wrath pop up?
Well, it's possible still that this Gatot is actually a roamer. And then we could see a completely different EXP lane to deal with the Esmeralda. You could go something like a Dirov at this point. Would be pretty good against Esme and Fredrin. Glue also, if you just want to survive through pure sustain at this stage. But Team Falcons, they can still go Ube. They can still go Estes. Let's see which of the two options they will choose.
I mean, I know it's what you want to see, Sadafa.
Please
I know
no
you're
Estes.
hoping for the Estes
Please.
pick. Just a
No.
couple seconds left.
No,
on the
not
clock.
no.
There it is. Your favorite hero in the land of Dawn. Falcons, Vega, Mena. Keeping it pure Ube-esque style. And personally, I'm loving it.
At least that makes one of us, I guess. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we are about to be treated to yet another episode of Walking Fountain, the series.
So do you think this time WAOW GG has the composition that can maybe deal with it a little bit better, though?
It's slightly better, but I'm gonna be honest, not by much. I don't feel like they have enough to actually deal with Estes still. Like, yes, carry is going to be very good at dealing with Barat and Gatot one-on-one, but it's still a very single target hero and really needs time to get going, time that can be spent by Team Falcons to already snowball out the early game. Matilda Fredrin helps a little bit in terms of clear, but Barat matches up quite well and already deals with the hero.
I mean, I feel like when you're going up against Estes, what you don't want is a late game scale comp. And what WAOW GG brought here is kind of a late game scale comp. They take some time to come online here, and by then, if you haven't already gotten a lead, Estes is a problem. Maybe they can capitalize on the Kimmy, maybe they can capitalize on the mid lane control, maybe look for some ganks on the off lane, but if they can slow down Team Falcons in this early game, they have a chance.
Yeah, WAOW GG gonna be very heavily dependent on this mid lane here. Since it is an Estes Zetian, WAOW GG 100% has mid lane priority. We can see that they're able to clear much more easily. So there's gonna be a lot of attention on Mike Wazowski.
Mike Wazowski, I'm always watching. Taking a look at the items, nothing too crazy overall. I haven't seen a Fredrin versus Barat in a long time, Sadafa.
Oh yeah, you're right. That was like the classic, right? When
Like-
tank junglers
Like
were
M4.
the thing.
Yeah, that was definitely, and you're right. The Barats does do well against the Fredrin. And it was finally an answer to it because you're able to get that Detna's welcome right around Lord Pit to stop the retribution from coming from the Fredrin and try to get the steal. So that's what we're going to be looking for in terms of Turtle Pit and Lord Pit.
The thing is that Barat doesn't get a lot of play these days because even though he is still quite strong in the early mid game, once the late game comes about and all the items really build up, Barat is super squishy. But Team Falcons have circumvented that with the existence of Vivin on this Estes, so they will be able to play quite similarly to game number 1, where they just kind of walk wherever they want, and WAOW GG needs to make sure they don't lose out early game too hard to avoid this fate.
All right, so first turtle of the game, Sunlight holding things down, looking like she's full stacked up. Mike Wazowski showing up to the party as well. It's a 4v3 now. WAOW GG trying to push the aggressive Falling Star Moon onto 3 members, but in comes the AOG to stop the fight. And now Team Falcons turning it around. Boss on the run. A nice Appraiser's Wrath does land on a 2, but Deja Vu taken out. Team Falcons gonna be able to take the first turtle.
Yeah, this is a bit of a concern. 3-man Falling Star Moon was actually really good from Deja Vu, but Team Falcons just groups up, heals all together. And the Fury of the Phoenix AOG combination was actually really good as well. Perfectly timed to ensure that Velvet would get the 2-man knock-up and then recontrol the fight and force WAOW GG back. We saw in the gold lane as well that Names is now 1 level up on Rika too, so Team Falcons has control of the early game. And that is basically the only point where WAOW GG has a chance to create space for themselves.
I mean, both the XP laners of both teams have been making great plays. We'd look at Deja Vu and we saw, like you said, the 3-man Falling Star Moon, you get the stun, but if that AOG didn't connect, that fight would have went so much different. WAOW GG may have been able to secure some kills, get past the Estes hill, but even though Deja Vu makes great plays, Velvet also continues to respond with great plays.
Yeah, you can see Velvet very comfortable on these heroes that just jump in, assist the team. And if she's able to come in at off timing, even better. Yui is able to set those off timings up very easily, but at the same time requires a good amount of coordination. You can see that this is a team with a lot of experience together. They've played together for many years at this point, and that experience is putting WAOW GG in a tough spot.
Ooh, a little bit of a play onto Sunlight here. A lot of damage. Brings Sunlight down to about half health, but it's still not enough. The assist is just too much. The heal, the sustain, and now they roll back over WAOW GG. Just when things were looking slow, WAOW GG tries to make the attack and pays the price.
Oh no. Why did they buff Estes? Why? Why did this need? That healing is gross. Look at it.
Look at this.
Look at the healing.
They started the fight,
They
though.
engage on Sunlight,
WAOW
drop him
GG
to
won.
half HP, actually get the taunt. Suddenly, they are not doing anything. The Appraiser's Wrath comes in, does a good amount of damage. All of the damage gets healed up. They just chase him down. They just walk down mid lane. It is like they are going out for tea time together. WAOW GG is fighting desperately for their lives, and Team Falcons is just having a shopping trip.
But honestly, before that, WAOW GG wasn't too far behind. I don't think they should have been trying to take fights here. It was 0-1, it was close, it was even. I think with their composition, they should be trying to bide a bit of time. They want to get Rika online, they want to get Mike Wazowski online, they want to have some time, and they're pushing the limit a little bit too much, and now they're seriously paying for it.
Yeah, I agree with you, Trex. Deja Vu, while she has been able to get some good setups, Esmeralda has a lot more strength in just creating macro positions. The Traction Pulse is good, but look at Team Falcons, man.
Yeah, I mean, another tower down. Names is 3-0-2. Names is a 1.2k gold lead right now over Rika. And we saw how Names played last game. We're going to see that once again, I got a feeling.
Oh man, we're 6 minutes in, Trex. I feel like I might have to call it. I don't know if WAOW GG is gonna be able to do anything about this anymore. They need to just completely avoid team fighting, try and play the map, split up Team Falcons so that Pivin cannot get maximum value out of the Blessing of the Moon Goddess, and try to funnel all of their gold into Rika. There is no other way to play the game anymore.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely don't count them out completely just yet. It's not a game to be called just yet, mainly because when you have 2 marksmen on the field, there is always a possibility you could just out-damage the opponent. And as you said, eventually the Brats will be a bit squishier. Yes, they have Pivin, but we saw it last game. Deja Vu did a wonderful job on the Lapu, able to split up the team, able to split up Pivin from the rest of the team. It's all going to be about timing here for WAOW GG in these team fights. And here we go, locking on to Pivin, goes back, but gets caught by the go away. Names continues to outplay. WAOW GG continues to be in shambles. Team Falcons just move after move, groove after groove.
It actually wasn't a bad timing. Pivin and Names were all alone, and a pickoff there would have been massive, but the Fury of the Phoenix providing backup anywhere they need on the map is stopping WAOW GG in their tracks every single time.
Yeah, but the thing is, Ayami on that circling eagle made the call for, instead of trying to stun Pivin and go towards tower, tried to go into Names. Names pops the go away and just sandwiches her in. I mean, it was disgusting.
Ayame popped like a pimple in an instant. like she never existed. That's how much damage Names already has on this Melissa too, and this is not a burst of marksman.
This might be a hero we see some more of as this event goes on. Team Falcons are cooking right now. I mean, they're bringing something different to the field, and it looks good. It looks like WAOW is back at this point.
Oh no, my worst nightmare has come to life, but not as bad as WAOW GG's situation here. 7 kills to 0, 8 minutes in, and we are already looking at a 6K net worth lead as well. Even if they try to cut, oh, Rika.
Oh, gonna be able to get away from this one. They're good. It's just a circle of heroes you gotta stay away from at this point. It's a bowling ball. It's a snowball. It's dangerous.
They need to push out the other side of the map, but in order to safely do that, they need vision, and Ayame is just not tanky enough to actually walk up and give them that space. Yes, they could have sent Deja Vu or Rika to the bot lane to get a push out, but they didn't know if someone would be waiting to ambush them. And that is precisely because this Matilda was prioritized against a team that is known for playing this style of game.
Can we just point out that it's 7-0 right now?
Yes.
It's 7-0. Team Falcons, and the thing about this is they're playing it aggressive too, man. They know when they have the lead. At first, they were willing to slow pace it. WAOW GZ is the one that tried to be the aggressors, and now Team Falcons like, fine, now we have an 8K gold lead. Now we're gonna run this lord down your base.
Team Falcons is well aware that they control the early game. As long as they continue farming up the mid game, they can end it before WAOW GG even has a chance to get their 2 marksmen up online. The lord comes in, mid inhibitor just falls. Mind you, the holy defenses are still up.
All right, so what does WAOW GG do at this point? They just try to stay away. They try to defend. At this, you don't aim for the heroes at this point. You aim for the minions so they can't attack your base.
Pretty much. But they're not very good at clearing those either. Look at Foss. Oh my goodness.
Solo brought back to base. Mike Wazowski as well with a target on her shoulder.
Damage?
Team Falcons. All they need is one more tower. Minions are coming in from all angles. Foss trying to clear the waves, trying to pull them away. Gets gobbled up, and the Daytona's welcome. Shot back, stunned against Ayame. Down comes the Falling Star Moon. There's a bit of damage onto Sunlight. Mike Wazowski trying to fight back, gets the kill, and Team Falcons finally pushed away.
Mike Wazowski really found the correct one. That traction pulse was actually huge. That is the first kill that WAOW GG has been able to get the entire game. And that is after they have basically lived in their base for the last 2 minutes. That's how much it takes for WAOW GG to actually get a pickoff. At the very least, it'll give them some breathing room. But they don't have a lot of the map left to actually get farm in, and they got 2 marksmen that are still craving gold.
At this point, they're getting spoon-fed by Team Falcons. It's like, okay, you can have this wave, I guess.
You eat when I tell you to.
We'll let this wave get to your base so you can get a little bit of gold. Speaking of gold, let's take a look at the chart right now. Break it down for us.
Well, we got the double blade armor on the Barats and the Gatot specifically to counter out Mike Wazowski, which means that Rika really needs to come online. She is still not complete with the Trinity yet, but going to be pretty close pretty soon. In comparison, Names just completed her Malefic gun, so that's going to make it even more difficult to jump on this Melissa in the first place. We got Flask and Enchanted Talisman, typical build for the Estes. Otherwise, everything is pretty default, and WAOW GG has a lot of catching up to do.
Yeah, I mean, Rika hasn't even gotten 3rd item in yet. We're at almost 12 minutes, and we're still waiting on the DHS. Like the mail's coming, man. This is a problem for the side of WAOW GG. We did see a little bit of damage coming from Mike Wazowski earlier, but I don't think they can fight for this Lord. I don't know if they can defend this Lord.
Yeah, it seems unlikely. At least WAOW GG are going to be able to avoid fighting entirely and just back off, but this next Lord is going to be difficult to remove. It's a 7K gold difference. Sunlight just completed a Winter Crown as well, so now even if the Barats gets caught out, he can buy even more time for the rest of Team Falcons. And WAOW GG basically has to pray for a miracle here.
Pray for a miracle, play your best, do whatever you can, because Team Falcons is coming. The Ube is coming. I'm not talking about them purple yams you buy in the Philippines. I'm talking about Team Falcons Mena. Lord does go down. They're trying to close in. Velvet with the AOD gets the knock up. The damage onto WAOW GG is just too much. The Ube's back, baby! That's a 2-0 sweep!
Yet another recreation of game number 1 as Team Falcons casually walks their way into the base of WAOW GG and says, this is my home now. Another 2-0 clean sweep going over to Team Falcons.
What a game. I'm speechless. I mean, they did that so cleanly, so perfectly. They look like, I'm not gonna say it just yet. I'll wait till Leo's here, man. But those girls played that textbook right there.
It was great. It was an excellent draft. They knew exactly what they were doing. But man, I'm so sad that Estes did so good here. I feel like WAOW GG needed to adjust. They were aware that the Estes comp was a risk, a possibility after game number 1, and it didn't really feel like they changed